I watched it live and I was totally shocked. I just thought, the first thing I said was, did he smack him? Because I just thought it just seemed like it was staged.
Not to kind of label him as a mean-spirited comedian, but fellow Brooklynite Chris Rock.
Yes.
He recently did, the Oscars.
Yeah, he grew up 2 blocks from me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys run across paths?
Yeah, I've known him for a long time.
Did you guys ever have and I'll get back to my question, but did you have to ever compete for different opportunities or?
Probably. I did a movie called, that I'm aware of. The only one thing I know I'm aware of is that I did a movie called Hanging with the Homeboys. It's my first movie. And I know he was considered for that role. That's the only time I think I've ever crossed paths with him where it was some kind of competition, if you will.
And do you know any reason why we haven't seen you two like link up, or are y'all still like, what's that relationship?
I got some call from a producer of a movie that he was doing top 5. But when I asked what when I asked what role he wanted me to play, they told me his stand-in. So I was just like, nigga, no. I think I said like, I'll do it for 50,000, some crazy. And they were like, we thought you were going to say that. And then they didn't call me back, which I'm glad they didn't. But, it's just shady,
Yeah, how do you, even hearing that, I'm like, how do you even process that? Like,
I didn't process it. You can't internalize insults. You just have to be like, oh, I see, my nigga.
I think hearing that is disheartening because it's just like, it's like, man, like homie from around the way, we both out here making noise. We've done our thing.
I don't know if it came from him, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. But fast forward,
they tried to make it sound like I was helping him because they were saying since he was directing and acting, he needs someone who can act. So they were trying to make it sound like you're helping him, So,
but I'm gonna challenge you a bit on that. Why not?
Why not what?
Why not have taken the opportunity to make the money?
I told them my price. They didn't want to pay my price. If they paid my price, I would have had a situation. I'd be like, I got to do this shit now. They just didn't want to they didn't want to, And I think then they discovered, this nigga does have money, so he's not like in need of blah, blah, blah. But people test you. In general, people test to see if you're broke or if you're destitute or if you're this or that. That's just part of negotiation in the industry,
Yeah, and maybe we can touch on that to educate the audience a little bit about that, because I feel like the deals that you guys were getting in those time frames was crazy.
Especially television.
Like, I've heard a lot of just stories like the holding deals.
And I had one of those. Oof, yes. Very nice. So when I got it, I was like, I don't have to worry about rent for 10 years. Because I must have been like 19. So, it was, crazy.
Yeah. So, Chris, he recently would make a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, but also before that, he made a joke about a couple people in the audience, the territory, in that Will Smith, who is Jada Pinkett Smith's husband, would seemingly get upset. Did you think this was real when you first saw it? Did you watch it live?
I watched it live and I was totally shocked. I just thought, the first thing I said was, did he smack him? Because I just thought it just seemed like it was staged, or it seemed like it was just like, it was, there's no way in the world that anybody would react that way. I'm married, so a lot of, I'm one of the minority blacks, the real minority. And I've been married a long time. So no man who's married wants to be in a room having anybody talk about their wife's appearance. So I understand why he would be in his feelings. But I would think that you would know Chris well enough to go backstage and have a conversation. Like that I would have had no problem with. And I would have had no problem if he smacked his ass either, if it happened behind stage.
But behind scenes.
Yeah, I would have no problem.
What would have been your approach if you were in Will's position?
I would have had a conversation with him, a very serious conversation, because my wife is the light of my life. So I would have to handle it. There's no, that's just how it is.
That was my thought of like, I understood the energy. I'm not married, but I understand someone that you care about.
Yeah.
But I do think he could have been checked behind stage.
Yeah.
He exits the stage. I'm right there.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Yo,
excuse me.
Yeah.
You know?
This is the last time.
Because it's not the first time. So I think he was more like enough is enough. Like, you know.
Right. But the response to hit this person on national TV, you know, he blacked out. I mean,
he blacked out. Yeah, he blacked out.
Now, Chris, on the other hand, he gets smacked.
Right.
You know, you're just there telling jokes. How do you think you would react to it? And honestly react to it? Because I'm certain that Chris was shocked as well as us.
He was shocked.
And you don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. He's held totally blameless for his reaction because anybody would be like, what?
A lot of people be saying they would have hit him back.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight being 2020, you can come up with all. It's like people saying like, if I was a slave, I would have been like, fuck you, fuck picking cotton, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're not a slave, man. You're not in that position. Like, so I can't speculate about what I would do in hindsight. Like,
right.
But I would have probably been just as shocked. But knowing myself, I would have had to ruin the show. I would have had to ruin the show. The show would have been ruined.
You wouldn't have let him walk back to the
I would
seat.
have had retaliation, you know. Especially if I was like younger.
Jokes or physically would have like maybe gripped him up, or what do you think?
At least kind of restrained him or something, like some kind of like, hey man, like what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like jokes, probably not, you know. It's like, because any comic knows that once the air comes out of the room like that, it's not really, you can't compete with that kind of controversy.